Have you ever wondered if wisdom sometimes means knowing when to say less or nothing at all? As we age, we discover that true wisdom isn't just about what we know, but also about understanding when to step back, stay silent, or let others take the lead. This isn't about pretending to be less capable. It's about preserving peace, protecting our mental well-being, and nurturing relationships that truly matter. In today's video, we'll explore the art of playing dumb, a powerful yet subtle skill that can transform how you handle life's trickiest situations. From family conflicts to pesky sales pitches, this approach is all about living smarter, not harder. Comment your city below, like this video, and subscribe to our channel for more wisdom and advice tailored just for you. Let's start with one of life's most delicate challenges: navigating family conflicts with grace and wisdom. 1. When family conflicts arise. Family is a source of love and support, but let's be honest, it's also where tensions can run high, especially as we age. Picture this: you're sitting in the living room during a family gathering, and suddenly a disagreement erupts. Maybe it's between your children, arguing about how to handle your future care. Or perhaps your grandchildren are bickering over something that seems trivial to you, but feels monumental to them. It's natural to want to step in, fix things, and offer solutions. After all, you've lived long enough to see how these patterns play out. But here's where the wisdom of playing dumb comes into play. Stepping back and choosing to remain neutral doesn't mean you don't care. It means you trust your family to find their own way. Instead of jumping into the fray, you might say something like, "I see good points on both sides. I trust you'll figure this out together." This simple statement does two powerful things. It diffuses the tension and empowers your family members to navigate their own challenges. When you step back, you allow the individuals involved to grow. Imagine your grandchildren arguing over something as small as whose turn it is to set the table. While it might be tempting to step in with a quick fix, letting them work it out teaches them valuable lessons in communication and compromise. On a larger scale, if your adult children are debating how to manage your healthcare or finances, staying neutral shows them that you believe in their ability to collaborate and make decisions. Your silence can often be more powerful than your input, as it encourages reflection and dialogue. This approach doesn't mean you're avoiding responsibility or ignoring the problem. It's about knowing that your emotional energy is precious and shouldn't be spent on every disagreement. You've carried the weight of family matters for decades. It's okay to let others take the reins now. By stepping back, you protect your peace and avoid becoming a lightning rod for tension. And here's another benefit. When you choose not to engage in every conflict, your voice gains more authority when it truly matters. Imagine the impact of speaking up only when the situation genuinely calls for it. Your family will know that when you do intervene, it's because the issue is important. This selective engagement strengthens your role as the elder of the family, a figure whose words carry the weight of wisdom and love. One grandmother I know shared a story about her two sons who were arguing over whether she should move into a retirement community or continue living at home with part-time help. She told them, "You both have good ideas. I trust you'll come to a decision that works best for everyone, including me." That simple statement didn't solve their disagreement immediately, but it diffused the tension. Over time, her sons found a solution together, strengthening their bond in the process. By choosing to step back in moments of conflict, you're not just protecting your own peace. You're creating a legacy of grace and understanding for your family to follow. You're teaching them that love is more important than being right, and that relationships matter more than winning an argument. Being the calm in the storm shows your family the strength of love and patience, more than words ever could. By choosing to play dumb at the right times, you model the kind of grace and wisdom that your loved ones will one day aspire to. In these moments, your silence and restraint are a quiet reminder of the invaluable lessons that only life experience can teach. 2. When technology feels overwhelming. In today's fast-paced world, technology seems to evolve faster than we can blink. Just when you've gotten the hang of sending a text message, a new app or device comes along, leaving you feeling like you're starting all over again. Smartphones, social media, online banking. It can feel like the world is moving at a pace that's impossible to keep up with. For many older adults, navigating these changes can be frustrating and at times even demoralizing. Take Joan, for example. She's 72 and loves staying in touch with her grandchildren, but when they switched from phone calls to video chats, she felt lost. Setting up the app felt like solving a riddle, and every time she tried to use it, something seemed to go wrong. Joan started to feel left out, as though she didn't belong in this tech-savvy world. If this sounds familiar, know that you're not alone. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by technology, but here's a comforting thought. You don't need to master every gadget, app, or platform. Instead, focus on using technology as a tool to enhance your life, not complicate it. One way to do this is by embracing the art of playing dumb. When you encounter a device or app that feels daunting, try shifting your mindset. Instead of struggling alone or feeling pressured to figure it out, ask for help, especially from younger family members. This isn't about pretending to be incapable. It's about inviting connection and collaboration. Imagine this. Your grandson is sitting next to you, excitedly explaining how to set up a digital photo frame so you can see pictures of your great-grandchildren. As the instructions get more complex, you could say, "That sounds amazing, but I'll need your magic touch to make it work." His face lights up as he gets to play the expert, and suddenly the moment becomes less about the device and more about the bond you're building. By leaning on your family for help, you're not just solving a tech problem, you're creating an opportunity for shared moments. Younger generations often love sharing their knowledge, and by asking for their expertise, you're making them feel valued and appreciated. This doesn't mean you should abandon all attempts to learn. There's joy in discovering just enough to stay connected in meaningful ways. For instance, learning to use video calls to chat with distant relatives or mastering email to reconnect with old friends can bring incredible rewards. But it's okay to acknowledge your limits and focus on what truly enriches your life. The truth is, technology is a tool, not a measure of your worth or intelligence. You've lived through eras of handwritten letters, face-to-face conversations, and shared meals around the table. These timeless ways of connecting remind us that the heart of life isn't found in a screen, but in the moments we spend with others. When Joan finally embraced this perspective, she realized she didn't need to conquer every app. Instead, she focused on learning just enough to stay connected to the people who matter most. Her grandson set up the video app for her, and now they have regular calls filled with laughter and stories. The technology, once a source of stress, became a bridge to the connections she cherished. Life isn't about mastering every tool, it's about cherishing the connections they help create. By playing dumb when technology feels overwhelming, you allow yourself the freedom to focus on what truly matters: love, relationships, and the joy of living fully in the moments that matter most. 3. When pushy salespeople come calling. From unsolicited phone calls to uninvited knocks at your door, pushy salespeople seem to have a knack for finding the most inconvenient moments to interrupt your day. Their friendly tone quickly shifts to urgency as they try to sell you the latest gadget, an exclusive subscription, or even a too-good-to-be-true financial product. For older adults, these encounters can feel especially draining and at times even intimidating. Take Bob's experience, for instance. Bob, 68, received a call from a salesman offering a once-in-a-lifetime deal on home insurance. The caller was persuasive, saying things like, "This offer is only valid today." Bob felt pressured and unsure, so he hesitated. But instead of rushing into a decision, he calmly replied, "I don't fully understand this. Let me talk to my family first and get back to you." That simple statement gave him the space to think clearly and avoid a decision he might regret. This is where the wisdom of playing dumb comes in handy. When faced with a pushy salesperson, pretending not to fully understand or needing more time to decide is an effective way to regain control. It's not about feigning ignorance, but about prioritizing your peace of mind. By responding with phrases like, "I'll need to check with my son about this," or "I'm not sure this is something I need right now," you subtly take the pressure off yourself and put the conversation on hold. One of the greatest lessons age teaches us is the value of time and reflection. Pushy sales tactics often rely on creating a sense of urgency, making you feel like you must act immediately. But wisdom knows that very few things in life truly require split-second decisions. By pausing, you disrupt their rhythm and regain your footing. You give yourself the opportunity to think critically, ask questions, and consult with trusted family members or friends. Playing dumb also protects you from manipulative schemes. Scammers often target older adults, believing they might be easier to deceive. But responding with cautious detachment signals that you're not an easy target. For example, if someone insists you need to invest in a complex financial product, you might reply, "I'm not sure about this. I'll need to talk it over with my advisor." That simple hesitation can save you from falling into a trap. This approach isn't about avoiding responsibility or shirking independence. It's about making deliberate choices that safeguard your well-being. Asking for help or advice isn't a sign of weakness. It's a mark of wisdom. Surrounding yourself with people who have your best interests at heart ensures that you're not navigating these decisions alone. Bob's story has a happy ending. After hanging up, he called his daughter, who immediately recognized the offer as a scam. By playing dumb and seeking advice, Bob avoided a costly mistake and strengthened his trust in his family. At its core, playing dumb in these situations isn't just a tactic, it's a quiet act of defiance. It's a way of reclaiming your power without engaging in conflict. You don't have to explain yourself, justify your decisions, or even say no outright. A gentle pause and a non-committal response are often all it takes to diffuse the pressure. By pausing, you regain control, showing that wisdom isn't loud, it's deliberate. Each time you resist the urge to act immediately, you affirm your commitment to living life on your terms, guided by patience, clarity, and the quiet confidence that comes from years of experience. 4. When heated debates erupt. We've all been there. A lively conversation takes a sharp turn into a heated debate. Maybe it's over politics at a holiday dinner, differing views on religion, or even a simple clash of lifestyle choices. The energy in the room changes. Voices grow louder, faces redden, and suddenly, all eyes turn to you. As the elder, your family or friends often look to you for guidance, expecting you to take a side or settle the argument. It's tempting to step in, especially when you have decades of experience and wisdom behind you. You've seen enough of life to understand the complexities of the issues being debated, and you might feel that your perspective could bring clarity. But here's a truth that comes with age. Not every heated discussion needs your input. Sometimes the wisest thing you can do is play dumb, not to avoid the issue, but to preserve harmony and keep the focus on what truly matters, your relationships. Imagine a family gathering where your children are locked in a passionate argument about politics. One leans toward one party, the other fiercely supports the opposite. The discussion grows tense, and they both turn to you for validation. You could take a side or share your opinion, but ask yourself, will this resolve anything? More often than not, debates like these don't end in agreement, but in deeper division. Instead of fueling the fire, you might say, "I can see why both of you feel strongly. It's clear you both care a lot about this issue." This response acknowledges their perspectives without taking sides, diffusing the tension and encouraging mutual respect. Playing dumb in these moments doesn't mean you're indifferent or apathetic. On the contrary, it shows that you value the relationship more than the argument. By choosing not to engage, you demonstrate that love and connection are far more important than winning a debate. This can be especially powerful in family settings, where unresolved conflicts can linger for years. Your neutrality becomes a calming presence, a reminder that it's possible to disagree without damaging the bond. There is also an important element of self-preservation. Engaging in every debate can be exhausting, both emotionally and mentally. At this stage of life, your energy is a precious resource. Why spend it on conversations that often lead nowhere? Instead, by stepping back, you protect your peace and avoid being drawn into unnecessary stress. Sometimes, silence is the most eloquent response. It gives others space to reflect and process their own emotions. It also encourages self-discovery, as people learn to navigate their differences without relying on someone else to mediate. Your silence isn't passivity. It's a powerful act of respect and restraint, one that fosters understanding and paves the way for deeper relationships. Consider the story of Margaret, a grandmother whose two grandsons were debating over the role of technology in education. The argument became heated, with one insisting that modern tools were essential, while the other argued for traditional methods. Margaret could have weighed in with her perspective, but instead she smiled and said, "I've seen education change in so many ways over the years. It's fascinating to hear both of your viewpoints. I'm sure you'll come to appreciate each other's ideas in time." Her response allowed the conversation to shift from confrontation to curiosity. In moments like these, the art of playing dumb is less about what you say and more about what you don't say. By choosing to prioritize peace over pride, you set an example of how to handle conflict with grace. You show that wisdom isn't about proving a point. It's about knowing when to let go and allow others to grow. Sometimes the strongest statement is the silence that speaks of peace and respect. By choosing not to engage in heated debates, you protect your well-being and ensure that your presence remains a source of love and stability, a quiet but profound lesson for those around you. 5. When you're asked to take on too much. As we grow older, our time and energy become precious resources. After decades of balancing work, family, and community commitments, you've earned the right to enjoy a slower, more fulfilling pace of life. Yet the world around you doesn't always acknowledge this shift. Invitations to lead a project, organize a reunion, or volunteer for a committee often come with flattery. "You've done this so well before," or "We need someone with your experience." While it feels good to be valued, these requests can quickly become overwhelming, pulling you away from the life you've worked hard to create. Take Helen, for instance. At 70, she found herself juggling multiple responsibilities, helping plan her church's annual fundraiser, organizing a family reunion, and babysitting her great-grandchildren twice a week. Despite her best efforts, she started feeling fatigued and irritable, struggling to keep up with everything. One day, she realized she was spending more time fulfilling obligations than enjoying her garden, reading her favorite books, or catching up with old friends. That's when she knew it was time to set boundaries. Learning to say no is a skill that takes courage and practice, but it's one of the wisest choices you can make for yourself. When faced with a request that feels like too much, consider playing dumb as a way to gracefully decline without guilt. You might respond with a lighthearted comment like, "Oh, I wouldn't even know where to start these days," or "I think this is a task for someone with fresher ideas." These phrases allow you to step back while still respecting the importance of the task. Saying no doesn't mean you're abandoning those who need you. It's about creating space for others to step forward. By declining, you give someone else the opportunity to take responsibility and grow into the role. For example, if you've been the go-to person for organizing family events for years, passing the torch to a younger relative not only lightens your load, but also empowers them to contribute. More importantly, setting boundaries protects your well-being. Overcommitting can lead to stress, fatigue, and even resentment, emotions that detract from the peace and contentment you deserve. By prioritizing your health and happiness, you're better able to engage fully in the moments that truly matter. Helen, after stepping back from her commitments, found that her days became richer and more meaningful. She spent mornings tending to her roses, afternoons enjoying long phone calls with old friends, and evenings sharing stories with her grandchildren. Her family and church community still valued her input, but she offered it on her own terms in ways that didn't overwhelm her. The act of saying no can feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to being the dependable one. But over time, you'll realize it's not a rejection. It's a redirection. You're choosing to invest your time and energy where it brings you the most joy and fulfillment. Wisdom is knowing when to say no, so you can say yes to what truly matters. By setting boundaries and playing dumb when necessary, you honor the life you've built and the person you've become. You remind yourself and those around you that your worth isn't tied to how much you do for others, but to the love, wisdom, and presence you bring to the moments that fill your heart. Playing dumb isn't weakness, it's strength born from wisdom. It's about knowing when to step back, let go, and prioritize what truly matters: your peace, your relationships, and your well-being. Life has taught you that not every challenge requires your intervention and not every battle needs to be fought. By choosing peace over pride, you remind yourself and those around you that the greatest legacy you can leave is one of love, understanding, and serenity. Embrace the quiet power of restraint and savor the moments that make life deeply meaningful.